Another thing that's dominated the headlines, mate, the Ducati, Cairoli, Lupino, the big triple threat there, mate. Big announcement coming from them. It'll be fascinating to see what they have in store. And I'm sure you probably know more than most people, mate, in the English-speaking media. So your thoughts on that, mate? Because it's going to be fascinating seeing such a heavy-hitting brand like Ducati hitting the motocross world.
Honestly, that was the biggest news since I think 10 years to now, and even more probably, because when you see a brand like Ducati coming into motocross, that's something that is great for every one of us. I mean, it's great for the sport, it's great for Infront, it's great for media, it's great for everyone. And it brings up the level of the sport. That's even if they will not succeed, for example, or they will stay a few years only, it's a massive push for all the movement of off-road. We know for sure that the project is to do a good bike, a different bike compared to the others, and that's something where I think the story become more exciting, because using a Desmo engine in motocross, it never happened before, and would be interesting to see. For example, you know that the Desmo is an engine that runs a really high RPM, but really high RPM is not always the best for motocross to get traction, but they for sure able to then put down this power on the ground and to transform it in traction. So it will be really, I think it's a different approach compared to many others. It's a different approach, and it's really interesting to see how they are doing it. For sure, like everyone is starting a new project, making comparison with all the bikes available on the market. Even the guys from Startvark, they started like that, just buying all the motocross bikes available on the market and trying to take the best out of each project. That's, I think, was at the beginning the key, but then they decided to go by their own way and to do a product that will first of all fit the market, because it's not easy to sell motocross bikes today. You cannot do it honestly a copy of a KTM or a Honda, because you must give to your clients, to your customer, a reason why to buy that bike. And today, color and brand is not enough. So I think they decided to take the right decision to make a really high standard level bike, probably would be the highest of the motocross market. So probably the price will be also at that level, but using only premium stuff on your bike, the best exhaust possible already on the standard bike, the best injection system available on the market, the best suspension available on the market. So I was concerned at the beginning. I was asking myself, what kind of suspension will they use? Because they use Öhlins on all the bikes they have on the market, and Öhlins is not involved in motocross since now probably 10 years. The last one to use it was probably Rinaldi team, but since then there's not development, there's not, so difficult to use a material that you use only with your bike, and then you have no comparison. Maybe Kayaba, because they use on the Desert X, the Kayaba, the bike come out with Kayaba. So it's possible that was already the first big step, I think. The Desert X is at the beginning of the history. There is the Desert X, because then they decided to go to Showa. Why? Probably because it's the premium stuff, to use for the production bike. So for selling a bike with the premium components, you need a Showa super suspension. And that was a little bit the key. Then, of course, Showa, they have a lot of experience in motocross, in races, with Honda and with all the other teams they supply with, like Kawasaki. So that's why they there, and they decided to work with them. Of course, they will run with Pirelli, as all the production comes out with Pirelli. All the racing is with Pirelli, a part of MotoGP, where there's another brand that they have to use, that is Michelin. But for the rest, they have an agreement with Pirelli. With all the bikes that come out from production, they need to, they have Pirelli as first use. So I think that the project was made first for the market and not first for the racing. But as in the DNA of Ducati is always racing, they decided to make racing. The bike is running since 2 years, existing since 2 years, and going around since 2 years with test riders. What is amazing, because nobody knows nothing. And so they were really good on keeping everything secret. But this means also that there's not a choice made yesterday and without any programmation, there's a huge solid program behind, and everything was scheduled in the right way. I think they were trying everything, every kind of chassis, every kind of swing arm, every kind of suspension, till they got the right pack, with everything fixed. And still now, for example, the bike is running without the number plate, because whereas normally the number plate, there's a plate with all the sensor for the recording data. So that's telemetry at the highest level coming from MotoGP. And taking to motocross, there's plenty of testing, plenty of little things to fix that will require a lot of work. Not sure if they will be ready to race already at Internazionale Italia. I don't think. I think that it's a really small possibility, but there is still a possibility that we can see them with one bike, maybe Internazionale Italia or the Italian Championship. Let's see if with both riders, Lupino and Cairoli. Of course, Tony is not there to be a rider, a proper racer, even if he's a racer on his brand, but is there because I think he's looking for another challenge, a biggest challenge, being able to give your contribution to something that will remain in history forever. The first proper motocross Ducati bike going to MXGP, going to Supercross, because don't forget that the program is mostly focused, apart of the production, so selling bikes, to go racing America more than MXGP, because the biggest platform today to sell bikes is America. So the focus is there. And that's even more exciting. Imagine Anaheim 1 with a Ducati on the 450 with maybe a top rider. Wow. That was just wow for me, and something that we were dreaming about. And similar somehow to the first KTM 450 that was, 350 at the time probably, that was at Anaheim 1 with in Supercross, racing in Supercross. So it's amazing, it's exciting, it's great. They had their first test all together, the team, the development team, and the two riders was in Sicily. Was 30th of November, 1st December. They were going around into 2-3 different tracks. Good sensations, good feelings. There's a nice group of work with the Madi staff and Ducati staff and the riders. Then Martino Bianchi is on the top of the program, not of the project, of course, because on the top of the project there are engineers. But on the top of the program, there's Martino Bianchi, with then this structure made by Marco and Corrado Madi. Tony and Alessandro are really like big friend, like for life. So that makes the job a little bit easier. And they went to Sicily. They went doing testing that were really positive. Of course, the key was not to make a good performance. It was to have a good feeling with the bike and to see how is the potential of the bike and what they can do for future, for close future to make it happen. What makes a big difference to me, but then it's only from outside because we know just a little part of the story, is the difference between the approach of Ducati and the approach of Triumph. That is way different. Triumph will not do any preseason race, so they will not compete in any of the preseason races. They will start Anaheim 1 in less than 1 month straight without any race done before. And they will start MX2 in Argentina on the 10th and 9th and 10th of March without any other races before. On the other hand, you have a brand like Ducati that will do probably a few races. They will do one Italian championship. They will try to see how is the story before being involved full time in MXGP and Supercross. So that's a kind of different approach. I'm surprised with Triumph to see that, for example, they used in Europe as a test rider, development rider, Clément Dessalles. Fantastic rider, the only one that never rode with an MX2 in his career. Okay, I was like surprised. Then maybe it's the good one that can give you really the perfect feedback. The Ducati bike was probably made mostly by Antoine Meo, that is an enduro rider and Dakar rider. So I won't say that it's a bad choice, but it feels strange to me that they put in the hand of the only rider that never did MX2 the development of an MX2 bike, and they will do straight races without any kind of pre-season races. But it's a choice, and we must respect this choice. And maybe they just ride and they have a fantastic bike, fantastic product, ready to race, to use the words of I'm not a manufacturer. It's always difficult. They found out this motto, ready to race is really the perfect one for fits to everyone, but you can use only with KTM. But anyway, part of the jokes, it's so amazing to see two big brands like that, not used to be motocross, not related by the history with motocross, approaching motocross. I was less positive than this few years ago for the future of our sport. I mean, not that our sport will disappear. That's of course. I know the potential we have and what they are doing to keep us alive and to keep us on top. But looking at those two big brands approaching motocross give us a lot of hopes for the future to all of us, the fans, all the people that works behind the scene, and all the teams and the organizer. So it's a cool stuff.